Okay, I'm guessing we are like if anyone watching us on YouTube can hear me, can you give me a quick shout? Say yes on chat maybe. Okay, let's just give it 2 minutes for people to join, and then I will get started on the webinar. Everyone watching us on YouTube, just give us 2 more minutes till we before we start. We're just waiting for enough people to join, and then we will just get started in 2 minutes. All right, seems like we have enough people coming in. Let's just give it one last minute and we are just about to start. Okay, it is 4:05. Let me start without wasting any more time. Hello, everybody. Welcome to yet another Bizom webinar. Thank you so much for joining us today. I'm Akshay, and I will be your host for the day. I'm very excited to welcome today's speakers and host you. But before I do that, let me quickly take you through the format of the event and how you can interact with the speaker. The discussion should take about 30 to 35 minutes, post which there will be a Q&A, and the audience watching us on YouTube can ask questions. You can put in your questions on the live chat window at any time during the session, and we will address it towards the end of the session. Before I introduce the speakers, I have an opportunity for you guys to win some goodies from Bizom. I have a question which I will just post on the screen, and you get 15 seconds to type in the answers. If you get the right answer, you have a goodie coming from us. Just a quick note, when you're putting in the answer, please mention your name in brackets, the same name with which you have registered for the webinar. And in case you haven't registered, please register towards the end of the webinar so that we can pass on the goodies to you. So here's the question for you guys. What is the tagline of Akshayakalpa Organic Milk? The options are vocal for local, experience purity, rejuvenating Indian agriculture, or source of purity. Your time starts now. You get 15 seconds. Okay. Seems like time's up. Okay. Now that I've taken so much time already, let me quickly introduce you to the speaker and moderator for today. The speaker today is Shashi Kumar, who's the CEO and founder of Akshayakalpa Organic Milk. Akshayakalpa is a value-driven organization working towards the challenges of the economic viability of dairy farmers in India. And your moderator for today is one of my favorite podcasters and head of growth at Bizom, that's Achut Awasthi. Over to you guys, Shashi and Achut.
Hey, thanks, Akshay.
Thanks for the introduction, Akshay. I am actually very pleased to introduce or give an introduction to our speaker for the day. So, Mr. Shashi Kumar, who's the co-founder and CEO at Akshayakalpa, and in terms of it's a real pleasure in meeting you, sir, and thanks a lot for taking out time on a Friday evening or Friday afternoon for our viewers on this particular webinar.
Hey, thanks, Achut. Thanks for welcoming. Thank you.
Right. So the very as in just to get things started, Akshay was talking about the mission statement or the mission statement of Akshayakalpa is rejuvenating Indian agriculture. So just to start off the things, why do you think Indian agriculture required rejuvenation or requires rejuvenation rather?
Hey, thanks, Achut, for that question. I think it's one of the primary reasons we got started with Akshayakalpa. So if you really go back and step back ourselves and see primary problems facing Indian agriculture, so right now, viability of the agricultural operations, are in question. So farmers don't make much money. So that's the first problem. Second problem is the cost at which, they do production, that itself is not trackable because the agricultural commodities, are linked to the market forces. So though cost of the production remains the same, but the market prices keep varying, which they don't have control. Unlike an enterprise like us, we control market prices, for the produce, but farmers don't have any control on the market pricing. The third part is, fragmentation of the lands. Due to our inheritance laws in India, what has happened is lands have become fragmented. So people who used to own maybe 10 acres of land, okay, maybe 100 years back, now actually own 2 acres, 1 acre of land because of inheritance laws. So the challenge is within that fragmented system, how do we make okay agriculture viable? So these are three fundamental questions, okay, which we believe Indian agriculture needs to address immediately. That's the reason we believe a different thought process is required, okay, towards entire agriculture, okay, in general and farming in particular.
Right, right. Let's step back even further. How did you start your journey? Because it's a very interesting profile, and I would recommend everybody to just look you up on the internet and see your videos and read about you. It's a very interesting profile, as in US, and then you were working in tech, like the most of us in Bangalore. So what made you to move from tech as a business to start something like Akshayakalpa?
See, I was grown in a farming family, okay, like any other farmer. My father, right?
Right. Okay.
Okay, saw a role model in
Right.
Bangalore. Okay, a role model is an engineer.
Right.
Okay, would actually make good living. So that's a very aspirational for any dad. Okay, for his children. Hey, you know what? Don't do farming. So you become a good engineer. Only parameters I measure is four subjects: physics, chemistry, mathematics, and biology. You can't score anything less than 100 in those. Okay, till your 12th standard. That's the only. That's the unfortunate. That's true. That's the unfortunate situation we are into. So I was grown like that. So I was asked to become an engineer. So that's exactly how I became an engineer, not by choice. Okay, but there's no other options. Okay, for my father who was a farmer, who was struggling to meet his ends. Okay,
Right. Right.
so that's one of the primary reasons why I became an engineer. Of course, we were in the middle of a IT revolution, so we get to okay see the outside world, spend a lot of time in US. Okay, and we decided some of the problems my dad faced. I think we need to change. The only way of
Right.
changing is having a role models in farming. Like how my
Right.
dad as an engineer as a role model, we should have a farmers as role models.
Right.
So that's exactly the reason why we got started with Akshayakalpa. It's
Right.
around 27 people from Wipro. Okay,
Okay.
my
Okay.
colleagues. Okay, actually
Right.
it's a crowd-funded initiative. Not many people
Right.
know. Okay,
Okay.
we got started like that. So that's the primary reason is we need to really create role models in farming so that next generation can take up
Right.
farming, okay, as a viable occasion, like an engineer, doctor, or an accountant, or a security guard, whatever it is. Farming also should become a viable occasion of choice. So that's a
Right.
fundamental philosophy why we got started with Akshayakalpa.
Right, right, right. I think we are already on the way of, or in the direction of creating role models, of course, with people like you. I was just, as in just anecdotally, I was just chatting with a friend of mine and was just talking about this particular webinar that we were hosting. And incidentally, he had just purchased a couple of products from Akshayakalpa the other day itself, which is just fantastic. Just to let's say dive deeper into the topic of our discussions, would love to understand. As in, I was talking to a lot of people outside in the audience who are there listening today. We're just discussing about the business model of Akshayakalpa. How many consumers are we able to reach? More importantly, how many farmers are we able to impact with the current business model? So if you can just throw some light on this, where Akshayakalpa stands right now, that will actually give a lot of let's say information to the audience that they're looking for.
So Akshayakalpa is a very focused program. We work with okay farmers in the back end. So basically a very deep association with farmers. Right now, Akshayakalpa works with around 600 farmers, okay, in the back end. So it has taken
Right.
around 10 years of journey to build these 600 entrepreneurs, farming entrepreneurs. Okay, so
Right.
average earning for my Akshayakalpa entrepreneur is around a lakh rupee per month. approximately.
Right,
Okay,
right.
but it is
These
a
are
10
earnings.
years. These are earnings. Okay,
Right, right,
okay, and this has taken 10 years of journey, very
right,
deep ingrained into the farming, okay, operations of the farmer.
right,
Okay, we are probably the first company in the country working with farmers, where each
right,
level farm MIS is maintained.
right,
Okay, it is generally unheard of, and lot of technology initiatives at the farm level we have put in place, where data can be measured accurately and feedback can be given to the farmer. And
right,
also on the
right,
front end side, right now we produce organic milk. We reach, okay, through all our 4 channels, we reach around 45,000 consumers daily. Through our direct channel, we touch around 17,000 consumers.
right,
Okay, through other channels, okay, remaining around 30 odd consumers, 30,000 odd consumers, okay, we reach. So in
right.
Bangalore mainly, we recently got started with Chennai and also started with small operations in Hyderabad around a couple of
Right.
months back.
Right, right, right. So it's great that we are setting the as in terms of setting up a growing, expanding business that is reaching out to or helping out, reaching to multiple customers or consumers across multiple cities. That's just fantastic to hear. You do talk about a lot of involvement, and again, coming back to your dad's point, actually, your dad was probably right. You do use a lot of technology in this whole farm to consumer operations, right?
Yes.
Which is where, in terms of procurements and how do I use the application, again, a feedback on the application, it's really very easy to use.
Yes.
I just onboarded you actually onboarded a new customer sometime last week.
Okay.
So it's so just throw some light on the entire operations, on how do you use technology to bring all the products from the farm. How are we impacting different stakeholders or your farmers or entrepreneurs till the point the dairy products reach an end consumer like myself?
See, maybe first time in the country, what we have done is entire farm data, we have put it on the cloud. For example,
Right.
entire animal data, entire farmer profitability data,
Right.
daily testing data, milk quality data, okay, entire treatment of the cows, okay, all the data related to cows, breeding, everything we have put it on the cloud. Okay, that's the first level of technology work what we have done in last 10 years. It's a mind-blowing amount of energy and time it takes to put every farm data into the cloud. So right now we can go and track last 10 years history, what has happened in these farms. Okay, and farmers, okay, can take decisions based on this. So, okay, this is one level of technology integration.
Right.
The second level of technology integration is how to use this data and give farmer advisories. So what we have done is we have using this data, we have done farm MISs where we sit with farmer. Okay, once in a month we sit with them. We do something called farm observation report.
Right.
As part of the farm observation report, okay, the extension officer sits with them. Hey, you know what? This is what your farm profitability is. These are the areas we need to improve. This is where you lost money. So these are the challenges where we would see. This is the kind of advisory it goes using this data.
Right.
Though farmer might not be interested in the data, but we use this kind of data to give farmer advisory. The second part is, okay, this is on the upstream. On the downstream part, where we are reaching out to consumers, distributors, retailers. So we have really partnered with, okay, a lot of people. Of course, we have got our own application where we reach out to end consumers, where we call it as a direct to home delivery. Okay. Right. Also, we partner with, of course, people like Bizome to reach, okay, retailers, especially the retail channel, where we are supplying, okay, our products to retail stores, organic stores, okay, modern trade stores. Okay, what we have done is we use technology like Bizome to reach out to end consumers. The third point is, okay, where there is an unorganized sector called agents. Okay.
Right.
That in itself, this kind of, okay, unorganized sector, we have integrated with the platforms like Bizome, okay, where they can place orders, they can track their orders, okay, they can, we can supply milk and see what are the returns, everything can be, okay, correlated. Okay, the other channels, okay, like, for example, modern, what we call hyperlocal channels like Big Basket, okay, Milk Baskets of the world, okay, Daily Ninjas of the world,
Right.
okay. We also distribute those channels. This is how actually most of the front-end operations, especially the downstream consumer-facing or retailer-facing operations, they are
Right.
entirely end-to-end driven by technology.
Right. Right.
And also one more important aspect is when we are doing a direct delivery to consumers, around 17,000 active consumers at every month, okay, with us right now. Okay, that itself, okay, last mile delivery, we make it through, okay, delivery applications where we track, okay, what time the consumers got a delivery, what are the consumer challenges, issues, everything, okay, we track.
Right. Right. That's really interesting to hear. The question that I have, at least for you, is how does it work in terms of the business model? Let's talk about the downstream business model. Uh, Dairy, I would imagine, as a consumer, it's extreme. There is some sense of loyalty to the products, but then there are categories which are fairly impulsive in nature. So be it a yogurt, wherein I can or yogurt or a curd, wherein I can be very flexible in terms of which particular brand of yogurt that I would like to choose. Now we do understand the models of, let's say, profit-driven organizations, but something like Akshayakalpa, where do you see those challenges coming in for you and your business, and how do you try to solve those problems, especially looking at retail as a channel, for example?
See, very interesting question. So, yes, retail purchase is always impulse driven. Basically,
Right.
people do walk into the store and pick up, so maybe whatever they see based on need basis, or I mean, it's impulse based, okay, or occasion based. Lot of purchases do happen.
Right.
But one of the key aspects for okay retail operations is the visibility. So how do we get okay the visibility of the product okay to the consumer who is
Right.
walking into the store? Okay, there
Right.
needs to be a multi-channel approach okay to reach out to these consumers. For example, today the social media platforms okay they play very important role to reach out to these customers okay to educate about ourselves okay first thing. Second thing is when they walk into
Right.
the
Right.
store, actually they can recollect, they can connect. Hey, I saw in the social media, I saw somewhere. Oh, this is the product. Okay, they can
Right.
easily reconnect. So those kind of interventions are very critical. Okay, especially in the retail play. Other part in the retail
Right.
play is of course traditionally retail. For example, if you go and put 100 liters of milk in a retail store, will the milk sell? I have my own
Right.
doubts. Okay, able to sell milk in a retail store. At
Right.
least Indian consumer is not okay. Does not prefer the milk to be delivered through a retail. He does not want to go to store and pick it up.
Sure.
Either he would
Right.
want to walk it up to a store in his apartment complex. Morning
Right.
it opens and he picks up when he walks. Okay, for a morning walk, or
Right.
he would want somebody to deliver it to his home. Till today,
Right.
around 95% of the consumers okay want milk to be get delivered. So
Right.
in what we have found is some of these retail stores, which are especially in apartment complexes, they play very important role for making this delivery happen.
Right.
Consumers
Right.
do subscribe to the retail stores and retail stores in turn, okay, home deliver within that apartment complex. Okay, that in itself,
Right.
okay,
Right.
becomes a very good business model. Okay,
Right.
if we can reach out and position our products properly in the retail.
Right, right. That's actually very fascinating. That's a very fascinating point. And again, we do come across parallels in different industries where they kind of focus on, let's say, other impulse categories. For example, your beverages and things like that. Milkshake, for example, would be one, which is where they also specifically focus on, let's say, schools and canteens and things like that, which is where people do purchase. So yeah, that's a very fascinating point that you mentioned. We did talk about Bizom being used across different workflows that you're using right now. Where do you see the progression for that in the next uh, year and a half, or in the future for
See,
Akshayakalpa?
so the retail channel is going to play a very important role for us. Okay, when we are expanding across the cities, for example, Now we are expanding to Hyderabad. Hyderabad, I don't think we can do a direct delivery immediately. The retail channel is going to be key, okay, to reach out to new markets. If you want to reach out to Pune or Mumbai or a
Right.
national capital region, we can't really put milk into those markets, fresh milk, in my opinion. So other products,
Right.
okay, we need to reach out to retailers. Therefore, platforms like Bizom, they become very important. So to get started with operations there, okay, understand the market, okay, reaction, how the product movement is happening, how the returns are coming in, okay, what are the market tractions, what are the stocks left over in each stores. They all become very, very important, okay, to get into newer markets. So to answer your question, so when we are entering into new markets, I believe platforms like Bizome, they're going to play ultra critical role, at least for companies like us.
Right, right. So essentially, looking at let's say expansion into the new geographies and things like that. But what about, let's say, existing operations that you would have? As in, dairy is famously, what we have heard and what we have seen with our customers is that returns is a big problem, especially if you're looking at perishable products or let's say low shelf life products that Akshayakalpa also sells. How do you handle that in the market, and how do you let's say look at retailer complaints or retailers not essentially picking your products and asking for returns and things like that? How do you handle that right now?
See, the problem is very, very simple. If you have got a feedback
Right.
mechanism on what is happening in the store, okay, if you are
Right.
placing, let me say, 10 liters of curd, if 2 liters of curd is coming back, if that feedback is there, okay, I think we can
Right.
really fine tune what is the store's requirement, okay.
Right.
So, for example, when you use a Bizome software, okay, for tracking this, actually when we go and place 10 liters of curd, and we can also put in saying that 2 liters of curd I have picked up as returns. Okay, that
Right.
basically indicates what happened my previous day supply, how much I took back. This is the first problem to be solved.
Correct.
The
Right.
second problem is, how do we go and educate walk-in customers, okay, about our products? So at least have some kind of a promotion strategy within the store, saying that, hey,
Right.
you know what? Okay, we are available here. Okay, there's a discount here. Can you pick it up? So
Right.
make people, okay, pick the product. Okay, it's very, very critical. Okay, within the
Right.
store ecosystem.
Right. Right.
Third is working with the category managers within the store or store managers within the store, okay, to educate them about our products itself. So if somebody walks
Right.
to the store and asks, hey, do you have got organic ghee? So they should be able to point out to say, it is available here, can you pick it up? That's
Right.
exactly how I see Achyut. There is no what you call silver bullet to solve these problems. We need to
Sure.
really work with these ecosystems, be it store manager, be it returns policies, be it consumer education. These are the
Right.
three key aspects in the store which we need to really touch and ensure, okay, that products are placed properly, okay,
Right.
consumers are educated on these products, and of course, store managers are educated about our products as well.
Right, right, right. So, but what about Akshayakalpa as a business? So, how do you drive that? I'm sure that is that would be there within the organization itself. But how do you see you're capturing all the data that we have from Bizom, from other business processes that you're digitalizing? Uh, how do you drive that data-driven approach within Akshayakalpa so that your team takes decisions based on what the data is giving them as feedback? So what are the steps that you take? Because technology can take you somewhere. After a point of time, and obviously you do understand tech better than most people. But how do you leverage that data or that power of data that you bring in from different processes and drive operations for Akshayakalpa?
Oh, it's very important. Okay. The returns policy itself, the amount of returns itself should become a KRA for a business guy. A sales guy
Right,
is
right.
actually driven on that KRA. Yeah, returns have to come
Even
down.
the category guy, I guess,
Yes, yeah, category
possibly the
guy.
category too. Yeah, of
Yes,
course.
yeah, and returns have to really come down. What he
Right,
can do to reduce the returns? Either he has to put, okay, energy and time to promote. Okay, either,
right.
okay, cut down what he is supplying to the store and reduce the wastages. Okay,
Sure,
or
right,
work with a marketing guy very, very closely. okay, and see that
Right.
the marketing campaigns actually really targeted. So, those are kind of, this data actually gives that kind of feedback. So that is part
Right.
of the internal sales teams planning.
Right, right. But if I have to put you on a spot here, and possibly some of your salespeople will be listening, on a rating from let's say 0 to 10, where would you put your sales team on how well they are looking at the data and carrying out business operations or intelligent operations once they are out into the field and carrying out activities?
0 being poor and 10 being the best, I put around
Right.
4. Okay,
Okay. Okay.
it's a continuous learning process. I
Right.
think day one they also would not know what to do with the data, but they
Right.
should just like however WhatsApp University teaches, the Bizome app should teach them. They should be able to open the app and see what's happening. So
Right.
that amount of diligence is required,
Right.
even for the sales guys. Okay,
Right.
to read data. But what we were 6 months back and what we are now, there's a
Right.
world of difference. We will continuously make progress. We will reach there.
Right. 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 I think that's a very it's a valid or not necessarily valid is the right word, but of let's say interesting assessment of the sales team as I would say. Uh, what and again, this is something that we have observed across. Just to share it with you as well. This is something that we have observed across a lot of organizations. I think tool is something, and it's also our endeavor to bring in smarter Bizom with every step. And obviously, you were very gracious, as in before the call, before starting recording, we were talking about it, and you were very gracious in sharing that feedback across, and we'll incorporate that to promote more entrepreneurs in the farm and dairy space as well. But it's essentially a continuous endeavor of Bizom as well. To create a smarter tool which guides or which helps assists the sales representatives or the field representative to carry out activities in the manner in which you would like them to do. So bringing them 4 towards 10 is something that's an endeavor, and that's some sort of a target that we have taken for ourselves as well. Right. So in the obviously in the interest of time, I'll just I have one last question, and again, thanks for being very frank and upfront here on this meeting. What's next for Akshayakalpa? How do you see Akshayakalpa growing? Obviously, you mentioned that you're growing in Chennai and in Andhra Pradesh, Telangana as well. But what's next? As in, how many entrepreneurs would we like to create, and how many role models would we like to create with Akshayakalpa?
See, the Akshayakalpa program itself, okay,
Right.
would be, I think, in a near term, we are looking at around engaging around 1,000 farmers, maybe next year and a half.
Right.
Okay, so that's on the back end side. But we would like to really reach markets like Chennai, okay, Cochin, okay, and Mysore, Mangalore, okay,
Right.
Hyderabad, okay, and to a certain extent Pune and Mumbai. That's the plan for next around 5 years. So that's
Right.
the journey. But
Right.
wherever we are going in and around that, we want to create a farmer ecosystem. Okay, that's what we are really looking at.
Right. Because I would assume that would be a very key component for your operations as well, having a farmer ecosystem around the area, and obviously it would help in the micro. As in and around improving the livelihood of the in the villages and so on and so on. That is something that would be I'm assuming that would be something that is part of your vision and mission as well.
Very much. In fact, we got started with our farming operations in and around Chennai. It is around 2 years roadmap. We will see how it evolves.
Right. All right. So again, I would love to open it out for Q&A. We do have certain question and answers that are questions coming in from our audience as well. So if you can just open it out for question and answers now, that would be Akshay, over to you.
Yes. Thank you so much, Achut. Thank you both. Actually, it was super interesting. I loved hearing you talk the goal and where you're headed, Shashi. I mean, it's definitely insightful. Before I open it up for questions, I have one last question for the audience. This is your last chance to win goodies, and let me just share that question to you right away. Yeah. So you can see the question on the screen. You know the drill. You have 15 seconds to answer. If you know the answer, please mention it on the YouTube chat. Okay, that brings us to the end of 15 seconds. Just in case anyone's wondering, this is this is the right answer. Fantastic. So I think we have a few questions. The first one's from Sri. She wants you to tell her more about A1 and A2 milk.
Yeah, good. I see. Well, let me start with the difference between an A1 and A2 milk. Okay, there is a lot of talk in WhatsApp University and unverified sources that A2 milk is better than A1 milk or A1 milk has some problems. No, there is no science behind this claim. Okay, there is a milk, okay, with A2 protein. There is a milk with A1 protein. Okay, so that is the first acknowledgement. Second thing is there's no verified health benefits of either of those or disadvantage of either of those. Okay, certain breeds, okay, produce, okay, A2 milk. For example, entire this A2 story actually started in New Zealand. Okay, there's a company called A2 Corporation in New Zealand. They produce A2 milk with Holstein Friesian cows. Okay, not what as we claim, okay, it's only Indian. No, it is not. Of course, cows with humps, okay, generally do produce, okay, majority milk is A2. It is not fully A2 because whenever a cross breeding happens, it do happen in the nature. For example, the area where we work, Hallikar and Amrut Mahal are the two local breeds. Okay, though local breeds have, there's an interbreeding has happened. Okay, now if you take that milk and test it for A1 or A2 proteins, there's a combination of both A1 and A2 protein exists in that. They're not pure A2 protein. Okay, so therefore the crossbreeding program, crossbreeding actually removes that genetic purity of either A1 or A2. Okay, so that's what it is. Any cow can produce A2 milk. Okay, especially the cows with humps. Okay, characteristically, okay, they can produce A2 milk, but Jerseys and Holstein Friesians can also produce A2 milk. Okay, so that's what it is. And there is a lot of marketing hype towards, okay, what is A2. Okay, that's very unfortunate. Okay, and it is not scientifically justified.
Got it. Thanks, Shashi. So the next question is from Kumar. He wants to know what you do with returned products, especially milk and curd, and how do you reduce sales returns?
See, except in the retail channel, okay, where we take returns, no other channels we are taking returns. Okay, in fact, till 1 year back, we had a zero returns policy in retail also. Once they take, they can't return. You only order to the extent what is required. Okay, but what happens is you bring in new teams, or they say, oh, others are giving returns. If you don't give returns, I also want to try and see. That's how exactly happens. Okay, this is the first, okay, assessment. We don't give returns in any other channels except retail channel. Okay, return products, okay, generally, okay, used as, okay, we curdle it and we use it as a, okay, feed to the cows. Okay, so that's exactly, we give it back to the calves. Return milk actually goes back to the calves. Okay, we pasteurize the milk and give it back to the calves. Okay, and other products which are returned, okay, if the product quality is found good, we again use it as animal feed. Okay, or if the product quality is not found good, actually we dispose it off in the throw effluent treatment plant. That's exactly how Akshayakalpa is managing right now. All the market returns, okay, they're not taken inside into the production system again.
That's fantastic to know, Shashi. Thank you. The next question is from Damini. She asks, she wants you to throw some light on how technology enables traceability from farm to fork for you guys.
Yes, very interesting. So generally what happens is, if he is a farmer, somebody else certifies what he is doing. Okay, in Akshayakalpa, what we have done is, he certifies his own milk. At his farm, he tests everything, data goes into the cloud. So basically, like any other entrepreneur, he is certifying his own products. He is saying it is antibiotic free, he is selling fat and SNF is this much, it is okay, alcohol negative. So all of it is actually okay, goes into the cloud, he certifies it. That's the first step in traceability. If you go a little bit deeper, where the fodder comes in is the next level of okay traceability. When what the cows are eating, where it is coming from. Akshayakalpa tracks it okay very deeply. The fodder and feed cannot come from outside. That is the biggest challenge okay any dairy faces. We trace that okay traceability of feed and fodder coming in, and the traceability of the quality of the milk maintained at the farm level goes into the cloud, and we lifting the milk okay coming to the processing plant, the traceability continues. Technically any liter of milk okay what consumer is taking, we can track it back to a farm. So there's a level of okay technology intervention what we have done okay especially in the back end.
Sorry, got it. Shashi, the next question from Akshay. He wants to know if there's a market for indigenous Indian cheeses in urban India. He wants to know this because there's no other company apart from Himalayan that's currently doing this. So, is there a
Yeah.
market?
See, unfortunately, what happens is the cheese eating consumer is generally a guy who has gone outside the country and come back. Okay, actually, we need to develop a palate for cheese eating. Okay, so cheese is actually, what is a cheese? If you want to define what is a cheese, it is milk is so perishable. Taking milk to immortality is cheese. Milk, you can make it as a immortal. Okay, so once you make a cheese, it can stay for years together. So that is the beauty of the cheese. There is definitely a market, developing market. Of course, we also sell around 100, 120 kgs of cheese every day, which is generally cheddar and mozzarella. That's what we are selling, okay, in the market right now. Cheese market is slowly developing, but it is going to be one of the biggest consumer segment, maybe 10 years, 20 years down the line. People who start now definitely okay can get into that market. But most of the market, especially cheese market in India, is driven by imported cheese. Okay, the cheese they import at 4,500 to 5,000 rupees per kg. If you walk into food hall in MG Road, okay, you would know okay most of the cheeses are imported. And there are wonderful Indian brands also they've been developed. Okay, like how we are trying to develop from the hills. Okay, brands like Carousel, they're doing wonderful job. Okay, trying to promote cheeses. I think one of the best cheese brands in the country right now, Carousel. They have done a beautiful job. Okay, so of course we'll take time to catch up with them, but we have started okay our journey in that direction.
Got it, Shashi. Shashi, that brings us to the end of questions. Thanks again. I think it was a fantastic session. Thank you for taking the time out on a Friday, like Achut said. Uh, Thanks to you as well, Achut, for hosting this. Before I end this, just a quick update to the audience. If you have any more questions, feel free to write that to us at marketing@mobisi.com. We'd be more than happy to pass that on to Shashi and get the answers back to you guys. For
Okay.
yeah,
Hey, thanks Akshay, thanks Achyut for the opportunity. Thank you.
Thanks a lot, Shashi, for taking your time. Thank you.
thank you so much, guys.